Hello, hello, welcome. Oh, we are we haven't decided our next actual let's play yet, but still doing Spooktober, and I decided as a quick session, so to speak, go back and re-record one of our oldest entries in our let's play. So this one was back. This is actually our very first one. I decided, it's been on my mind for a few months now when I should go back and re-record some of these, and because of the Merciless Striker stuff, what happened there was I lost the footage of a near completion Merciless run. So I decided while doing the doing the let's learn of it, I we would redo Merciless since it had been about, I think, 3 years since we did Strikers originally and Merciless at the same time. But it's been 6 years since we first did Crescent Hawk's Revenge. And I've learned a lot more about video editing and more, and have a better idea of what I wanted to do for structuring these let's plays and all that, and talking, what we talk about, what we don't talk about. So I decided, yeah, let's go back and remake our first one. Back in the day, we used to just stream these. We didn't do YouTube direct uploads. We didn't do editing. We didn't do timestamps. I don't think timestamps were a thing back when we started in 2019. Were they? Somebody tell me in the comments if they were a thing back in 2019 or not. I know we started doing timestamps near the end of Winter Blessed Arena in League. We started doing them more consistently. There are also alternatives of either listed as chapters. YouTube. Yeah. And this is a game that's been near and dear to my heart for ever since I first played it back in '95. Yeah, I was young when I played this game. So yeah. And this will be taking the place of Crescent Hawk's Revenge on the Battletech playlist, as well as Let's Play. Unfortunately, that means I would have to go. I would have to rearrange everything. So we'll probably just leave it as newest. But actually in the Battletech playlist, we could actually fix it there because there's only 8 videos there, so that one will be fixed. But the Let's play pre 2004. Oh no, that's gonna be a hassle because YouTube doesn't make it easy to sort it. You have to drag everything. If you have a lot of videos and something, it takes a while, and I hate doing manual sorting because of that. So yeah, the very first one was streamed, and we didn't really do much with it. Again, this was all the way back when we were first learning what we were wanting to do or what our formatting is. Now we have a better idea. So anyway, we're gonna start it up. I will say in advance, I don't know if I want to replay Professor Hux's Inception. It's not a bad game, and it's a quick game. I just don't know if I want to replay it or not right now. Honestly, we probably will at some point because remaking the first and second videos, and I don't know if more of these we will redo. Some of these very early ones probably because again, 6 years ago I didn't. It was kind of Wild West for me, and before YouTube rolled out stuff to make it easier for editing, and plus I didn't know how to do video editing at the time. Now I have a better grasp. If you see my memes and montages, I have a better grasp of things. You're not going to see some advanced stuff like Team Four Star or these YouTube chef food channels or anything, but we got better quality now. Okay, it's better now. It's better. Like Christ, I think the very original ones were recorded in 720p but 2500 bit rate. So depending on the game, it could get very blurry. And I'm sorry, I didn't realize how bad it was back then because I'm doing this all by myself. And yeah, I have occasionally somebody will give some advice and everything, and or I'll go around and ask somebody I know who's talented at this, find out, tell me, hey, am I doing something wrong? And yeah, most of the time I am doing something wrong. Yeah, now we're gonna have much higher quality. So let's kick it off. And I don't know if this should double as a let's learn or not, because RTS games are kind of strange for let's learn in the sense of you could do, but it depends on the game what you can do with it. Like let's say Command and Conquer, you can show build orders, strategies, and all that. Most of the time, it come down to the same basic thing: get more units than the other guy, right? Here, it's a little different because your units are fixed. You get 4 the early missions, then you get 8 at the Dieron arc. I've never learned how to pronounce it. I don't know if it's Dieron or Dieron or Dieron. All I said is Dieron. But yeah, you get 8 at that arc, and then once the invasion kicks off, you get 12. At that point, it's a little bit different than usual, but I'll think about it. Maybe along the way, I'll say something, or maybe after I finish editing, yeah, because honestly, it may be technically a let's learn as well because I'll be talking about lore and all that. Anyway, let's go. Finally, right? Look at that. 35-year-old game.
Presents The Crescent Hawk's Revenge.
Look at these mechs. These are the original unseen designs. There are alternate ones that are in Mech Warrior Online as well as Mech Warrior Mercenaries 5. Well, no, it's Mech Warrior 5 Mercenaries. I don't know why they say Mech Warrior 5 did Mercenaries, because it's just a continuation of the brand Mercenaries, which was called that ever since the Mech Warrior 2 expansion. Never understood that one. It's called Mech Warrior 5, period. It felt like the subtitle was unnecessary because it's the same thing. You're playing a mercenary, right? Then you have the Clan Invasion pack for that one. Alright, so new game. Once you create a game once on a save, you'll have access to the Pacifica Training Simulator. That allows you to just make battles on demand, and it's mostly seek and destroy. You can't really do any custom objectives like when you get to the Arc Royal. So note the timestamp, the date. It says 3028. This is during the Fourth Succession War. Now, that was the first major story arc of both the novels and the pen and paper game. What that means is Fourth Succession War started when Hans Davian declared war on the Capellan Confederation during his wedding to Melissa Steiner. And that was some fun times. If you look at our Mech Warrior 1 playthrough, you'll notice we were talking about the Fourth Succession War there because Usenet there talks about Justin Chiun. I've never been able to pronounce his last name, but that was the public face, so to speak, of the Fourth Succession War. Justin's defection and revenge against House Davian. That was part of it. It was all one big covert action to screw over Maximilian Liao. So you see here, this is our first briefing, and it's interesting because he mentions the Kurita having a vendetta against the Hound. The Kurita had a vendetta in general against mercenaries. Because of events during Wolves on the Border, which led to the vendetta of Wolf's Dragoons versus the Cronus Combine. This is something that's explored there. and parts of it explored in the Warrior trilogy because you see the Kellhound point of view. Because the Kellhounds end up getting involved against it because of a vendetta between Yorinaga Kurita and Morgan Kell that extended to the Kellhounds. Honestly, it's a really good idea just to read the books if you can, because sold on Catalyst site as well as I think Amazon. They've done bundles in the past, so worth reading it because there's a lot of stuff that's not covered in the games or tabletop. Tabletop does summaries of it, in the source books and so forth, but yeah. All right, so our first mission. All right, so I believe I'm pretty sure I talked about this back in original playthrough, but you should always have Jason in your heaviest stuff. I was talking about Warhammer versus Marauder in the original. I would just put him in a Marauder at this point because Marauder has more health and more armor, means staying alive longer. I think it's personal bias to the Warhammer chassis that you know. Yeah, I think I did say something about it, but generally speaking, you want him in your heaviest stuff. All right, so here we're going to pick this. Now, your fourth one will always be one you can never use. So your first few missions can be changed significantly based on what you pick here. I'll say Enforcer, Phoenix Hawk. Honestly, I don't like the Hermes too much. Lasers are decent backups, but the AC is Fourth one will never be usable. So it's up to you if you want to make a harder game by picking lower tonnage stuff. It doesn't tell you here, but this is a 55 ton, 50, 45. I remember correctly, this is a 40 ton. You got 25, 20. The lightest mech normally is a 20. There are some ultralights, but those are mostly tabletop tabletop only. And the timing of this places this during remember correctly, this is actually during a cannon attack on Lyons. I want to say during Book 2 Warrior. Because there is a cannon attack on Lyons where three of the forces wipe out. I think the town's called New Freedom. Yeah. So if you looking for where it is in the canon, it's around time of Warrior Part 2. And you always lose your 4th Mech Warriors, as well as the 4th Mech, as I said. So you can have a little easier time or a harder time depending on what you're doing at the start. Always pick the heaviest ones you can. First one is generally speaking the easiest mission in the game. It is possible to lose it, but you pretty much have to throw it. It also blocks some of these units as well. Now, sometimes you can get lucky and destroy a generator destroy Locust the first time around. Generally speaking, he'll run away most times, or if he gets an opportunity, he'll go for the dropship. And this commander is not canon as far as I know, but it basically is meant to be, I don't want to say XP. I want to say representative of what's going on. He's kind of like a fill-in. He's not an XP. If anything, he's probably closer to like a weird version of Yorinaga. But this is more like basically a cutout for the Kurita Vendetta. So this is meant to be the vendetta of going on during the Warrior Trilogy. It's weird. It talks about leaving the base lowly defended. Like, it's so strange, right?
Jason, this is Rex, code red.
Oh yeah, and also this is like one of the very earliest PC games with voice. They're only voice clips, but yeah. If you get a crap amount of damage, it's better to reset. You don't want to take too much damage.
Jason, this is Rex, code red.
Can't also be an asshole, just tag team. Oh, cool. There we go.
Jason, this is Rex, code red.
Let's reset. I didn't get to talk about it. There we go.
Jason, this is Rex, code red.
Yeah. So you get that special text only if you didn't destroy Locust in the first mission. It is possible to destroy, but it's kind of random whether that happens. Again, run away.
Jason, this is Rex, over.
There we go. I was about to say, random whether or not the Whitworth will eject. Upgraded Mech this way. Interesting how they were able to swap out that Whitworth. Generally speaking, in the canon, unless a mech is specially prepared for tech maintenance, All mechs are coded to their assigned pilot. So you have to do a you have to get past the security check. You have to match the brainwaves, and again, unless it's already reset for maintenance mode, so anybody can get in and out. Yeah, something I think was not really addressed in the early games. Interesting is the clans don't seem to have this problem. What we're going to do here is pull everybody back to here, make the tanks come to us. Remember correctly, you only need to destroy the APC. You don't need to destroy the tanks, although it does help. Yeah, our mechs are pretty banged up. Protect Jason. If he dies, the game is over. An automatic loss if he loses. Okay, I remember now. We got to destroy the tank. Then the APC will show. And range. Remember, he's got long range too.
Jason, this is Rex, code red.
Yeah, see, this is actually one of the harder missions by far because the tanks are very well developed. If correctly, they're considered armor-wise equivalent to heavy or assault mech, and the Rommels are some of the heaviest in the game. It's also one of the very few times you actually fight enemy tanks.
Jason, this is Rex, code red. Jason, this is Kurt, code red.
He's just taking a incredible amount of damage. See, massive armor is indication of either being a heavy or an assault. Oh, there we go. Lost one. And we have no weapons, so he can't do anything. Fortunately, they never put melee in this game, so he can't use melee in situations.
Jason, this is Kurt, code red.
If you get hung up on this mission, it's normal. It's normal. Oh, good, we stopped him dead. It's kind of RNG, honestly.
Jason, this is Kurt, over.
So yeah, RNG. Some strategies work better, some don't. Has to do some combos. Also, the goddamn game was brutal, and calling you out on being bad. But somehow in a nice way.
Jason, this is Rex, code red. Jason, this is Kurt, code red. Jason, this is Kurt, code red. Jason, this is Rex, over. Jason, this is Rex, code
There we
red.
go. Yeah, I remember now. We could, you can actually force it to spawn and caveman it. Okay, we got him.
Jason, this is Rex, over.
Okay, we may have this. Once the APC goes down, then they bolt. So that's kind of a trick to doing it. Get the APC out. And this Caitlin Shaw is one that's never brought up again in the games. Or rather, I shouldn't say that. Never brought up in the canon, as far as I know. So he may be an XP for Dan, Dan Allard, who was actually at the base during all this. Remember correctly, yeah, he was at the base during the period of assaults. It's strange how these Luthien kill missiles are never brought up in the novels either. But it's actually the earliest implementation of Lost Tech, that the Great Death Legion found. Because at this point, the Helm Memory Core would have been found, and it would have been spread around to the 5 houses, despite the efforts of Comstar.
Jason, this is Rex, code red. Jason, this is Rex, code red.
So it's entirely optional if you wanted to get the LRM ones as well. The infantry will die one shot. However, there is actually a boss in this mission, so to speak. You got to deal with an assassin that spawns. Can be a little dicey if you don't know how to exploit them.
Jason, this is Kurt, code red.
Note that it's one of the very few times you'll see enemy aerospace like that. Custom model too, versus the generic one they reuse later at the invasion arc. See? What makes these games hard? This game hard is you can't save mid battle, so you can't save test out strategies or anything.
Jason, this is Rex. Over. Jason, this is Kurt. Over.
Bait out the. You can bait out the neck. Ooh. Yeah, so it didn't work. We in the original playthrough we did manage to get the LRM ones, but I forgot how we managed to manipulate the AI.
Jason, this is Kurt. Code red.
Don't know if we can actually abuse this. It'd be pretty funny if you that's got right past him, right? Oh wait, we didn't tell him to move. Why did he move? Ooh, stop firing, buddy. This AI can actually really weird. Okay, it does move him off. Saw that, right? Why is he's just like ignoring? I've never seen this before. Ignoring order. That's so weird. Spawn's there. Okay.
Jason, this is Kurt. Over. Jason, this is Kurt. Code red.
See, now the mech is moving. Oh, look at that. This mech is chasing us. Bam. Baited, sucker. So this does change your mission choice for this area. Either one can be is doable. Every mission in the game can be won. It's just not. Sometimes the answer is not obvious. Now the road run is a little bit harder because you basically need to haul ass. Like you cannot mess around. No point fighting it. Remember, correctly, we did the gauntlet before. The gauntlet means you have your full mix. So whatever sub you had, and if you can see what we got there. It'll be fully repaired. It's actually not that hard a mission because you actually have a Kellhound Lance here already helping. That's got heavier stuff than you do. Take note: if you go road run, Riley will live. As far as I know, Riley will live. But if you go Gauntlet, she dies, so you end up only having Grease. It is honestly up to you, and we're doing Gauntlet. It's more fun. And this is, again, a character you only see here. Going by that logo. Nah. Sorry, I'm idly thinking. Like, if you look at the space background and the logo, that's not a Kellhound logo. It is, and it's weirdly listed. Rather, it's weirdly displayed. Honestly, it looks closer to the clan wolf symbol from this angle.
Hawk leader, this is smoke leader. Code red.
Go up and help. Take a look at what we got here. Blackjack. Dervish. Shadowhawk. And a rifleman. That's a heavy mech. And I've talked about this before, but this is the only time in the game the rifleman has the wrong model. Here it's got a kind of a generic medium mount model we saw I think on the Phoenix. Yeah, look. Same model as the Hunchback, Enforcer, Vindicator. Later game, once the Arc Royal the invasion starts, then you'll see it on the proper model.
Hawk leader, this is smoke leader. Code red.
What I like to do here is hide. And in the first, in the Let's Play years ago, we actually insta-killed the dragon. I had never seen that happen before. So we're just going to chill. Okay, let's do this.
Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 3, Code Red. Hawk
Interesting.
Leader,
Oh,
this is Hawk 3, Code Red.
yeah, I gotta say it's very interesting that they have a Hatchet Man because that is exclusively a
Hawk
Steiner
Leader, this is
thing
Hawk 3, Code
that has
Red.
become more prolific.
Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 2, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 3, over.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 2, over.
Riley always dies if you go, if you don't do road run, but I don't think Riley will die if you do road run instead. Oh, he's already targeting. Good. Ah, heartbreaking. I feel like we had that though. It's just RNG. That's again a big part of the RTS is the RNG.
Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 3, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 3, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 3, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 3, Code Red.
Unless it went too far in. Interesting enough, you can't force the dragon to spawn.
Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 2, Code Red.
Yeah, we went way too far.
Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 3, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 2, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 3, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 2, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 3, Code Red.
Wait, where is that?
Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 2, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Javelin Leader, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 2, over.
Damn, we almost had him though. We just went to the wrong spot. Need to be closer.
Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 2, over. Hawk
Oh,
Leader, this is
me.
Hawk 3, Code Red.
That should might help. There we go. Boss down. Again, this is somebody who just is a cutout for, stand-in for the whole Vendetta. I guess they didn't want to use Yorinaga. And now we have the final Lyons mission. Best thing you do is haul ass. If you have a bunch of light mechs still available, oh, you're in luck. Because the mobile HQs are very
Hawk Leader, this is Hawk
fragile,
4,
but
Code
they're
Red.
very fast. See?
Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 4, Code Red.
Sitting everybody after
Hawk
it.
Leader, this is Hawk 2, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 3, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk
Ignore
3,
the mechs and
Code
go
Red.
run, send everybody out there. You can see, be a very quick, very annoying mission, depending on how your initial setup is, because this is where it really matters. You need a lot of long-range weapons and stuff that can, do one-shotting, basically. If you fail to get the HQ in time, you do have an alternate scenario of where you got to destroy everything on the field. I've never beaten that version. I don't think it's possible to beat it. So borderline no win. And now we have the Dieron arc. And see, this is where the actual fourth succession war gets brought up. Now, you do have a choice here. You either do 2 or 3. I tend to prefer 3. Gives you your first opportunity to do company level command of 4 units in 3 lances. Or you can do the double lance, which would give you access to heavier gear. Honestly, we try to do either one. And honestly, you want to basically what's going to happen is you're going to have the opportunity to upgrade your mechs. Don't do that. Also, these times are hour based, so it's saying it would take 2 hours for aerospace to scramble in Dieron. Like, guys, really? One of the most heavily defended areas of the Combine, and it takes them 2 hours? Guys, come on. Again, see the setup. Again, I think this was intended to be used for something else before they shifted it to continuation of Crescent Hawk storyline. That logo does not match any except maybe the Wolf logo. Not to mention the in space area. It looks way more like a command center of an active dropship or something. Notice the map. In the upper right, that is a mech shop. We'll be going there in the next map. Not this one, but the next one. Mountain Pass is one I usually take on the way out. Nope, we got 3 Rommels. And sorry, I was thinking of some kind of clever in joke. That'll take us a lot of clever in jokes.
Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 4, code red. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 4, code red. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 4, code red. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 4, code red.
Honestly, you should probably expect
Hawk
that to
Leader,
happen.
this is Raven Leader, over. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 2, over. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 2, over. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 2, over. Hawk Leader, this is Raven Leader,
Also, I was wrong.
code red.
God, you do see as Rommel here. But they get popped so fast.
Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 3, over.
There we go.
Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 2, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Raven Leader, Code Red.
Well, I'm about ready to turn this. They spam it
Hawk
hard.
Leader, this is Raven
Annoying.
Leader, Code Red.
All right, blow them up and shut up.
Hawk Leader, this is Raven Leader, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Raven Leader, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Raven Leader, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 3, over.
Yeah, because they swarmed.
Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 2, Code Red. Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 2, Code Red.
Hang on. There, we're just turning it off because it's annoying as hell. And you don't need to send one of your units up there. Rather, you don't need one to command lance. Than anybody up there triggered it. Make sure to do that because it does make this mission significantly easier. Why are the other ones so slow? Whatever. All right, so now we have Crusaders, 4 of them. This is actually the only time in the game you can actually access a Crusader until you get the training simulator unlocked. It's friggin' weird, right? Jesus, man. Hard on us, huh? These are jump infantry. These might actually be death teams. The elite strike teams. Those are jump infantry. Focus fire, people. There you go. All right. And this is one of the very few times you see, you know, a vehicle in a cutscene like this. Although I think this, suggests that, canonically speaking, he did not hit, the Crusaders, because that looks like a galleon. Let me fight most of the infantry on the way out. You have a lance of vehicles at the end. You only need to get APC out. So you can quickly save some time by doing that. This is a bait. Remember what I was saying before about taking the long way out? Yeah. Stay still, you're going to have to deal with aerospace. If you come out get your legs blown off on a Crusader, yeah, instant game over. That's why you want to keep, I should have said something before, but you want to... Oh, crap. Ran us down. Yeah, Archer, it's like the only time in the game you'll see an Archer outside of the training sim. Basically, ignore these guys. Do not fight. It is bait. You are going against very heavy units. Yeah, see, he got run down. So, decent strat is to, send the other ones up and have him, move them. See, that's what I'm saying. You get straight. Fighters are pissed. It's also one of the very few times you'll see another mismatched model. That's a Marauder. They have their own custom ones after the invasion starts. But yeah, it can be really dumb. Acting. Wait, they're winning? Gee. Huh. They destroyed a Marauder. Goddamn, dude. I've never seen this happen. So, yeah. This is new. Mostly because you're not supposed to actually fight that. You're supposed to ignore him and run. Uh, yeah. Doesn't matter if you win or not because it comes back anyway. I get it because they're focusing on so much on Jason, they threw the fight pretty much. But when you're in the mountain, you gotta manually do this. Too bad we couldn't do some rather it's too bad there weren't some quality of life change, like being a mass target use at one time. That's crazy, man. Well, so all these years, I knew it was winnable. It's just, well, you're not supposed to because most likely you're gonna be very banged up. Plus, you got to deal with the creative fighter strafing. Yeah. Almost done. No! What? What the hell happened? Like, what hit him? There's actually, usually there's no defenses there. I have no idea what the hell just happened. Got hit by a fighter or something. That's heartbreaking. That's something I've never seen happen either. Only assume it was hit by a fighter. Something I did not see. Bro, they were straight. Damn, went too slow. Him doing that. Oh! Okay, I know what. I think I know what happened now. think a tank followed in or something. So this can be a little dicey because, again, that surprise tank and all that. APC out here and so. Yeah, this thing's being goofy. We gotta send them up gauge. That way they bait them away. Now this mission becomes annoying enough because, again, this is subject to RNG like so much in this game. I'm gonna skip ahead to the next one. Really wish, I really wish we had set the cube formation, you know, before going into it. Make things so much easier. That to fighter. Guess we're gonna call it very unfriendly fire. This time we didn't get popped, so yes. Yeah, because we didn't go far enough to trigger it. Okay, I don't even think of it was Lucky Strafe. There we go. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. Lucky Strafe. And I don't know if this changes whether or not you destroy his archer or not. We didn't get to see if it did because, again, I don't know. I've never won that fight and gotten away with it. And this is only 6 months after the events of Inception, so go figure. Now we had the big time skip. So this finishes out the Fourth Succession War, and then it talks about the War of 3039, which is something very underrepresented. Is very underrepresented in Battletech media because there's a few source books, and only one novel has any coverage of the events. So 3039 War and Jihad are two very underrepresented parts of a Battletech lore. Jihad is incredibly divisive, mostly because there are a lot of nonsense sort of things that happen during it that really upset the fans. This is interesting that he talked about independent unit of the Kellhounds able to do their own contracts. Because this is something that's lore-wise expanded more during the post after the invasion in Tukayed. Because there's in natural selection there is a unit called Zimmer's Dwarves that's directly said to be part of the Kellhound program. So this is interesting how this translated into something that was actually used in canon. Now he mentions Graham leaving, but you never there's nothing ever said about what this unit is, what happened to it, what happened to him. It's entirely possible by the time the invasion he died or retired. Here, the War 3039. Note the map change. It actually does reflect the canon update to, at this point, the Federated Commonwealth exists. And this is what I was talking about earlier, Lost Tech. This is stuff that was passed around by the Grey Death Legion. This is actually interesting because lore-wise, it's heavily implied that the reason the reason that the Karita units got the ECM was because of Comstar. Comstar was very asshole-ish back then. Then they were in the habit of pulling this crap. So it's heavily implied that the ECM was by Comstar hands and part of when Frederick Steiner became Anastasia's folk. Hear that ominous tune? Here we go, Clan Invasion. Now it's interesting it starts at 51 instead of 49 because 49 was when first contact with the clans actually happened. As you can see here with the gray border, yeah, it even says like 3049. Interesting that they say here that they are the descendants of the Star League because it was a big mystery who these guys were until I think it was Blood Legacy. Yeah, I think it was Blood Legacy where it was revealed they were in fact the descendants of the Star League Defense Forces. It was either or Lost Destiny. Either way, we are actually going up at this point in the novels. It is Lethal Heritage still. And yes, they did cut down that many mechs. One regiment is, let's see, got the exact number. So it's between 3 to 5 battalions, which is no small amount. So it can have up to 180 mechs, assuming you only use mechs. There's also versions like the ones that incorporate vehicles and more. So let's say it's 180 mechs per regiment, right? So 30 means they cut down over 5,000 mechs. Honestly, I think that number's kind of lowballed, or rather, it's a little bit. It actually might be inflated, mostly because there's remarks in the novels about how many regiments Comstar has, and they have around that. I think they have around quarter of that in Comguard defense. See here, actually. So Tukayid doesn't say. See if I can figure out the regiments. Okay, so think about this point. At this point, the thing about the Battle of Tukayid is supposed to be the largest military engagement. Okay, yeah, here it is. Okay, it's on the wiki. That's 25 galaxies from clans that were assigned to fight, right? Versus 12 Comguard. So 12 Comguard units. 12 entire armies were equivalent to 144 regiments. So that means, if that's not. Wow, that can't be right. Okay, I think I've got this math mixed up here. So Comguards are equivalent to 144 regiments. Okay, I'm not actually sure because the Comstar military formation is different from the Interspear one, and that's also different from the Clan one. So it's kind of hard to get any actual correct info here. And not to mention, some of these are actually combined arms. So you got vehicles, padded out, and okay, so 144 regiments. So let's go with that for a number, right? That would have meant 25,000. Let's just say round it up, 26,000 units, including combined arms. They didn't field naval, so yeah. And also the lore here. Razahog, yes. This is something we see at the end of Lethal Heritage, the novel, where Tira sacrifices herself. It's the tragic irony there is her last moments were thinking of Phelan, right? He was on the ship that she rammed, and she almost killed him. So there would have been horrible tragedy. Well, you know what I'm saying, right? So anyway, at this point, Ilkhan Leo Showers is dead, which means that you see the invasion zone has changed a little bit further. And notice how close to the invasion areas we are. This is something that comes up constantly in post-invasion novels and such. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, at this point, the Ilkhan is Ulrich Krinsky, who is he's clever as hell. He's one of the more popular fan favorites for characters, and he's subtly sabotaging the invasion. All right, so Arc Royal. We are probably going to actually skip these missions because all they are is it's training sims, right? So basically, you're just doing some testing out new stuff, see how it's basically giving you the option, the ability to check and see your setups and more. You can largely ignore that because only a couple of these objectives actually do matter in the upcoming. So again, put him in your heaviest stuff. Since we'll be using a save game with the Warhammer, yeah, we're not going to have an archer. Sorry, we're not going to have him inside a Marauder, but yeah, generally speaking, put your guys in the heaviest stuff you can get here. You can have an entire heavy lance here. Make sure to take note of what's here. Some of these actually do correspond to canon variants. You are basically running around with lost take up created mechs. They say enhanced, but these are meant to be refits and such for invasion era mechs. This is actually really interesting because Morgan was okay, so I think they made this game before the novels. And I say that because at the end of Lethal Heritage, he was already on Outreach, where the Wolf Dragoons were summoning all the big leaders of the successor states as well as the mercenaries and more. They all caught them all there for meeting, and then Blood Legacy, they straight revealed that they are formerly of the clans, and they're able to make Omni-Mech. So this is a conflict with actual lore because at this point he was actually on Outreach, or rather, by the time he got back to Arc Royal, he had already known all about this, and it's heavily implied that he knew before anybody else that Jamie was not Inner Spear. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that this game conflicts with. honestly, this, these are maybe we want to skip them because these are kind of easy. I-99, yeah. We do want him in the Marauder. Also, it does, they mentioned the clans using enhanced and unenhanced mechs. Yes, this is actually something that does happen. Frequently in the model, in novels, as well as some of the games outside of this one, you will see clan units in second line, Garrison stuff using inner spear design. If you're just gonna sit there, buddy. No, that is awesome. That is a assault mech. Also, note the icon is the smoked jaguar. This is unusual, mostly because the area has you fighting in the Ghost Bear zone. I believe it was later ended in canon to be Ghost Bears that took that you encounter rather than smoked jaguar. Although it is possible for it to still be smoked jaguar, mostly because there are varying points in the novels that. Okay, let's say there's 3 clans, right? Clan A and B can be fighting on Clan C's planet, and Clan C can avoid getting involved if they are not either provoked or challenged as part of the fighting. It's actually something that comes up in the refusal war, where Tasha talks about having to scare the Steel Viper garrison into not interfering with the fight. It's actually interesting how this can happen because, again, you would think because it's their turf they come out and defend it, but at the same time, they can be honor bound not to interfere. Whoa, what? Oh, we lost by default. Wow, okay. So I forgot there was a timer. Now I blame the slow firing artillery. Notice we have a trouble amount of firepower. There we go. You can repeat some of these, but you don't need to. Oh, right. Oops. Did we lose somebody? Oh, we did. And Scout Lance. Bunch of yo nobodies. Wow, okay, fine. Probably should have been paying attention. On here, I might be trying to. Thank you, bastard, huh? Ah, yeah, so there is a unit just right there. That is a heavy lance. Okay, that fighter shot the legs off. Nice. Huh. Y'all saw that, right? They just disappeared. This is similar to, the Dieron escape. Big lance there. Heavies. Don't fire, buddy. Just haul ass. Can't believe that. caveman that. Morgan's like, yeah. Buffing him up. God. Oh, we set up. Oh, they're jumping up here. Also, another catapult has a marauder. Yeah, kind of an in-joke at this point, isn't it? They still have all these active lances. All right. Recon dead. Jesus. And we win. So much for that. Can't just, can't hold them all, right? This activates only at the end. So you can actually get rid of them now by sending, just come in one by one. You just can't wait to die. So we soften them up a bit. The funny thing is, there's stuff like here about the Atlas and all that, but they never use assault mechs. The only clan units we actually see, other than the enhanced inner spear designs, are Nova, Adder, and Timberwolf. So yeah, kind of interesting, isn't it? Damn, we killed their command and fire lances that fast, huh? Wait, why is our fire lance all the way up? Never mind, we ought to win. And this is something that happens in canon. Basically, Hans decides to send help to. Okay, so there was an agreement between him and Theodore. He would not send FedCom troops into create a space while the clans were a bigger threat. So he found a loophole by sending Wolf's Dragoons and the Cowhounds. These are those orders. And this is a key point of the clan invasion that Luthien has to survive. And as a fun fact, during the actual Battle of Luthien, Shin Yodama references the Crescent Hawks. Not to mention they do canonically show up in the same novel. So yeah, go figure, right? Here is Kaesong. This is a Ghost Bear area. Again, I believe it was mentioned. I believe it was later amended that they fought Ghost Bear units here, not Smoke Jaguar. By it being, showing the Smoke Jaguar logo here. This is the end of Blazing Aces. This does change your incoming battle. You end up either going against 5 clan mechs or 15. Either way, the aces will be taken down. And you gotta be careful. You get fully repaired after these few missions. At the same time, do you really want to risk losing pilots? Notice he is not using an upgraded Phoenix Hawk, and he's considered part of the Crescent Hawks, even though he isn't actually. It's also impossible to save him here. He goes down no matter what. Note the 5 configuration. Damn, jumped. But yeah, it could be nasty. You see if someone just stands still in the fighter section. Gonna chill at the fighters do the work. See? Oh shit. She probably moved in. interesting they have artillery considering it's heavily implied that artillery is considered dishonorable by clans, so they wouldn't use that gun. Reset. If you have anybody die before now, yeah, they're considered permadead. Mainland's down. Outlands. Damn, dude. Honestly, we just got to move on. Francis, okay. Kind of interesting we can cause strafing on a hostile area, right? Air superiority means nothing goes spares. You know their con at the time would have been a pilot. So mechanically, he will always be in a Phoenix Hawk, even though he can use any of 8 different mechs in Mech Warrior, which is his game. Huh. Wait. I think this actually does change if Greece died. Never seen it before. So he's always going to be mad no matter what. Okay, so I took a quick look just now, and, doesn't matter if Greece lives or not. It's always going to be Jin who gives out the distress signal. So I was remembering things wrong. We did reload our post Arc Royal save. So yeah. And you can't look for any recruits or mechs until you've gotten past the first few missions. A lot of this is basically we're not the enemy anymore. And early on, elementals. They're hardier than infantry, but they'll take a little bit more killing. Get her out of there. So this is most likely going to be your first encounter with elementals. They are scary little bastards. Come 5 to each unit. See, do a lot of damage close range. In later games like Mech Warrior 5, they are a bit nastier. Damned. Quit moving around, damn it. Oh boy. Early on, it's speed adder. Yep, those are adders, also known as pumas. Codename reporting. And they're not staying in one spot. Adder is. Those left. Expect people to die. weird that the clans like notice guys somehow. Oh wow, we are completely by left. Great. The other hand, make it easier to get out. Ooh. Ran on all fours after us. So this could be very nasty depending on how banged up you are going into it. You guys are expendable. All that really matters is getting Jason out. And honestly, you don't get to use the scout lance after a while anyway. So you manage to get them out. They're mark as high skill luck. Yeah, this is interesting that a bunch of light mechs can take out an assault like that. What is our AI doing? Pathing is a big enemy in this game. So straight run after me. Fascinating. Jesus Christ. Not some more of these first. Because 4 alone is actually overwhelming. Upgrade battle master, which is crazy. Oh shit! Are we? Oh no! We're in the line of fire. Adjust. More of these you can eliminate, the better. That guy just doing the action loop. What can you call that except him doing that? Unfortunately, we couldn't save the rest of the people, but it doesn't matter. It could be worse. Our ship. So since what we did was we took the saving the repair center, so we didn't get a full repair. That's something to remember. You don't we don't go and save them. Yeah, your stuff won't be repaired. Don't worry about the sword of light unit. Dead. Interesting that we get the victory music when we failed, right? We may have to check our saves. I think think we have something. Desperate. Turns of units left. Yeah, this is our okay. We did have a save that skipped the very annoying early part. This is a fully repaired one. Nice. So if you're having some trouble, you can keep reloading in order to get access to better recruits and mechs. So this is supposed to be, I think, the Kawashi River Valley. Is it Kawashi or see there, Kobayashi? Oh, Katsura rep. Oh no, wait, sorry. It may actually be going by the time it. Yeah, it's going by the time it's Katsura River Valley. Looking at the Karna entry, it could also be Karuguchi. Fortunately, the game manual never really establishes which river valley it is. But I think there was a line that you could see. The early area was the Tarakana Plains, as far as I could tell. Of course, I could be wrong. Here we got Blackhawks, which are Novas. Nova's a scary bastard. The default configuration has him with 12 medium lasers. To reset till it gets heavier mechs in there. It says River Valley, so it's either Karugochi or the other one. Probably Katsura River. Checking the other save. This was the gun that's past that one. Okay. Okay, so that was different mission. All right, try to get back to. Oh, this is gonna be a pain in the ass mission. We're just skipping it because we are severely under strength. Usually they're not this aggressive, so I'm kind of confused what we were doing wrong. Idiot. Honestly, yeah, we may just skip this one. I don't know. I think it's just because the way we are set up, we didn't properly set up things. It's whatever, right? So yeah, let's just skip that mission. Guys, is there anything that really symbolizes what people in the 80s and 90s thought this future would look like with these hairstyles? Bro, like, I don't know if he's gonna break out. I don't know if he's trying to get ready for war or he's gonna start singing Lionel Richie songs. Seriously, look at it. It looks like Lionel Richie. Should have been talking more about that. Ah, good. Power up our lance. So yeah, we just ended up skipping that one. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't think it's a hard mission. It's just I think somewhere along the line we screwed up our comp. Because usually that one's not that hard because you're back. You're finally back in your heavy mechs. I said, going by the timer, this is Karugachu Valley, but no, it can't. More likely, it's the Tarakana Plains, but that's the wrong timestamp. Going by what the text is, it is Karugachu Valley. It's just got the wrong map for it because it does mention the Dragon's Claws, and that's Takashi Kirito's unit. Look at the map. You see where they're at. Okay, look. Unit just standing right there. Bombard them right now. Notice how fast they're dying. And we got Mecha, so now we got Timberwolves to deal with. Timberwolves are fucking scary. I think he's not necessary at this point, huh? Lots of bodies. Amazing that Commando keeps surviving. And this is the final mission. Now this, let's look at the timestamp. 1740. Okay, let's see what it says in on the entry. Probably the Imperial City section. Not really corresponding to a retreat section. Yeah, it's most of the biggest peak of fighting was Kadoguchi. Kadoguchi. And the actual final battle isn't shown, but it is referenced in the Blood Legacy novel, where at some point it skips to just after the final battle when the plans start leaving. What I do is go over here. This is the exit. Wait, no, that's not the exit. Crap. This is the same place we were hiding out earlier. Here's an interesting thing here. It's a Hound unit going by the icon, right? Look at the name. It says Sword of Light, which is a relay unit. Yeah. Weird glitch, weird oversight. He never corrected. Otherwise, exact same ad with Chiun. Just put everybody there and just set up for blasting anything that comes nearby. You got full lengths of heavy mechs, got full assault lands, what's left of our fire lens. Had a yeah, we just had to strafe there. And apparently these are some strong spiders that are taking out Timberwolves that easily. Of us. That was the right one. So RNG can decide which one gets, is the correct one, and we can end up getting a protracted fight or that quick one. Notice he calls him Takashi. Yeah, there's a lot of inconsistencies in the original games. And this is also a Galaxy Commander invented for the game. This is not a canon figure at all. Should be check. I don't think that's an actual canon bloodline name either. Yeah, he only shows up in mention of Professor Hunk's Revenge transcripts. Trial found. There's a mention of an Ilnate Techus there, but yeah, that's his Reborn Warrior. It's a trial founding. Reborn Warrior be sponsored by a high-ranked warrior officer of the clan. That looks like it's something that came up after Wars of Revan. Now, this is actually something I think I talked about in the original Let's Play, but this is actually something that happened. Okay, so this is a interesting reference to events of the Battle of Wolcott, where the Oak Jaguar commander defeated, I think his name was Dieter Osis. He surrendered. He asked if both him and his attendants asked if his children were to be destroyed. This is a reference to that. This is like the only actual time you ever see this being brought up, because generally speaking, descendants of a failed clan warrior do not get purged like this. There are, however, very specific incidents. Usually takes something extremely grievous to trigger that. The most notorious incident was a Ghost Bear Sibco. Back after Clan Wolverine got exterminated, they were, it was discovered that a clan's Ghost Bear Sibco, about I think it was like 20 or 30 of them, were all determined to have Wolverine genes. And since the order to exterminate everything, belonging to Wolverine extended to even the genetic material, that meant every single one of them who was discovered to have it ended up committing suicide. Yeah, clans are kind of hardcore, okay? And yeah, this is actually a key thing. On Wolcott, it was Ohiro and Shin who encountered this and gave the same thing that Takashi is saying. And this is actually recreated dialogue from that, but instead of it is recreated Wolcott dialogue, but the interesting is they don't know. Well, okay, so at the time, it was they didn't understand the whole clan bondsman thing, the end spear. And so they just sent them away instead of taking them hostage, taking them captive and all that. Hence the clan bonding thing. They didn't understand all that. And also, Ilkon is spelled wrong. That's not how it's spelled. Which is interesting because that's how we end up getting the con spelt for Shao Kahn. So go figure, right? So there's a lot of inconsistencies here with what we see in the novels. And this is like one of the very few instances you'll ever see of Luthien in the games. I think it wasn't we didn't see Luthien again until Mech Warrior 5? I don't actually know if Luthien ever shows up again in the game. And every single one that survives will show up here. It is possible to have every single one of your starting people survive, but it's very hard because the big meat grinder part is escaping the clans or Chiun shows up. That's the big difficulty part of getting a save where your scout lens lives. And it only goes to your commander, so this isn't one that changes whether or not you manage to get them to survive. See, we lost a lot of our people. And note he references Melissa. Because at this point, yeah, FedCom, Melissa's still alive, but she does die in the interlude before the Refusal War. And, this is interesting because, technically speaking, this is where the Crescent Hawk story completely ends. At this point, they just become a retired unit, right? However, a few years back, Catalyst released a spotlight on Crescent Hawks thing, which detailed the post-invasion history. And it's strange. It says remove, like, technically speaking, no. Isn't really how it works. They could just continue on without him. In fact, that's how the Kellhounds work. The Black Widow Company kept going on without. Well, remember correctly, the Black Widow Company actually got changed to something else with Natasha gone, but it didn't disband. It got recreated anyway within the Wolf clan when she went back. And funny thing is, it's never established if, mechanically speaking, what defeated the clan invasion during the Twilight of the Clans novel arc, aka the Great Refusal, was a restored Starleague defense force. That's something else we have not seen in the games, I think. Invasion wise, we've seen the invasion itself, the first up to the Battle of Luthien. I don't think, I don't think the Battle of Tukayid has ever actually been shown, which is what definitively stopped the invasion until the Great Refusal. So I know we have. I'm pretty sure we have not seen the Battle of Tukayid. We only seen in novels and tabletop. I don't think we've seen Operation Bulldog or Serpent, which was the lead up to the Great Refusal. So yeah, game wise, it kind of just ends here. Mind you, I have not played Planet Invasion stuff or Mech Warrior 5 in general. I don't know how far in they go. I know they do a lot of third and fourth Succession War era stuff. On top of the Clan Invasion DLC, allowing you to play as the clans during that rather than as Inner Spear. So yeah, I don't know how far the coverage is. I understand the Invasion DLC ends at Battle Luthien because you're playing Smoke Jaguar. But I don't have, yeah, we have not seen Tukai yet. We haven't seen Jihad. We've seen parts of FedCom Civil War, but that comes way after the invasion. We have no games, as far as I know, that are Dark Ages or Ill Clan. So game wise, there's a lot of focus on the Succession Wars and invasion. Honestly, that's because one is intro tech, starting tech where everybody starts out relatively equal, and it's more about using correct mech setups and sending them more rather than using ones that have stronger weapons. Invasion is because of clans, and yeah, this just tells you what you can do there. And there's only three omnis in the game now. Modding wise, I've heard people were able to put in stuff that should be there, like dire wolves and more 3025 stuff. So yeah, that's it. And this is us redoing this. Talk about more about the lore and all that. I feel like it's honestly better looking now. Definitely gonna look better in resolution. All that, like you were doing it with very low bitrate and everything because it was back when I was starting out streaming and more. And yeah, so a link to the old one will be in this description, of course. Yeah, I do kind of regret having to skip that one scenario, but it's annoying. Not fun, and if you have a save, you go right past it, why not do it, right? Anyway, thanks for watching, and see you next time.